Good morning, my Real News Midday TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and productive day. And in the news this morning, British woman who died in Trelawney crash identified. The police have disclosed the identity of a British woman who died from injuries sustained in a collision involving a pickup truck and a motorcycle along a section of the North Coast Highway in Trelawney on Monday night. The deceased has been identified as 54-year-old Lisa Ball of a Cali, United Kingdom address. According to reports, around 7:40 p.m., Ball was the pillion rider on a Honda motorcycle being ridden by a British man along the Greenwood Main Road. The crash occurred when the driver of a pickup truck exited a business establishment onto the roadway and crashed into the motorcycle. Both the rider and the pillion passenger were thrown from the motorcycle and sustained injuries. They were taken to the hospital where Ball was pronounced dead. The rider of the motorcycle was treated for minor injuries. The driver of the pickup truck has since been taken into custody by the Trelawney police for questioning. Dad found Donnelly's lack of response to WhatsApp message puzzling. A September 2022 statement given to the Independent Commission of Investigations by the now deceased father of social media influencer Donnelly Donaldson outlined that he sent her money from overseas via MoneyGram and thought it unusual that she did not answer the message he sent to her afterwards as she normally would. The father, Elwood Donaldson, who was a physician and a surgeon living in Nassau, Bahamas, died in 2024. His statement was read in the Home Circuit Court in downtown Kingston on Tuesday during the murder trial of Constable Noel Maitland, who had a relationship with Donaldson, who was reported missing on July 13, 2022, 2 days after Maitland picked her up from her house in St. Andrew. Closed circuit television footage at the Chelsea Manor apartment complex where Maitland lived showed Donnelly arriving there, but none showed when she left. Prosecutors believe that she might have been killed inside the apartment between July 12 and 13. Maitland is facing trial for murder and also for preventing the lawful burial of a corpse. The statement her father gave was read in court by the Director of Complaints at Indicom, the fourth witness to give testimony in the trial, which is in its second week. In the statement, the father explained that Donnelly is the last of his 6 children and that she lived with her mother, Sophia Logg, in Kingston. I am living in Nassau, Bahamas, and the last time I visited Jamaica was more than 10 years ago. On July 12, 2022, I saw a missed WhatsApp call about 1:05 p.m. from Donnelly, the father said in the statement. Donnelly then sent me a message on WhatsApp at 1:06 p.m. After we spoke, she sent me a message with her correct address and the spelling of her name to send the money. I wanted to send her through MoneyGram. The message with Donnelly's correct way of spelling her name and address came in at 1:11 p.m. on July 12, 2022. On July 12, 2022, I sent the money to Donnelly through MoneyGram, and then I sent a message to her telephone number on WhatsApp at 10:54 a.m. on July 13, 2022, Donaldson said, pointing out that he included the necessary details which were important for Donnelly to pick up the money. However, she never did. The father said he noticed that, although he sent the message with the details for the money to be picked up, only one tick came up in the message, which indicated that the message was not delivered. She did not answer the message on the phone. This was not usual, as normally when I sent her money and sent the message afterwards, she would acknowledge receipt soonest, saying, "Thank you, Dad." That was the last time I communicated with her. The father had indicated that there were no scheduled times for Donnelly to call him, as she would normally call when she felt like it. He said that on September 6, 2022, when he was given the statement, the messages he sent to Donnelly in July remained with only one tick up to that day. Therefore, where is her phone? He asked. Meanwhile, Donnelly's a very close friend who was on the stand last week completed her testimony on Tuesday morning. In last week's testimony, she told the court that Donnelly had told her that she was awaiting money from her father so she could pay the balance on a bill at a restaurant where they and some friends had recently eaten. She said they had gone to the restaurant on July 10, 2022 as part of Donnelly's pre-birthday celebratory activities. The friend told the court that the last time she spoke to Donnelly was on July 12, 2022. She said she had received a message on Instagram from Donnelly's brother, which caused her to call Maitland and ask if he had seen her. The friend said Maitland told her that he was sleeping when Donnelly left his apartment to collect money that was sent by her father. She told him that she would call some other close friends to find out if they had heard from her. When those friends explained that they had not heard from Donnelly, the friend said she called Maitland and told him. According to her, the constable began to cry very loudly. In court on Tuesday, Christopher Townsend, one of Maitland's attorneys, grilled the friend during cross-examination. Townsend asked her how she knew that what she heard on the phone was indicative of Maitland crying. The friend explained that she could not confirm whether there were actual tears coming from Maitland, but her impression was that he was crying based on how he sounded. In response to a question from Townsend, the friend told the court that sometime after 2 p.m. on July 12, 2022, which was the last time she spoke to Donnelly on the phone, based on noise in the background, it gave her reason to believe that she could have been on the road at the time. She also told the court that she was aware that Maitland had a child with another woman and that Donnelly and the woman had an ongoing dispute. Judge outlines the 6 elements needed for conviction. Supreme Court Judge Justice Courtney Day, who is presiding over the Deane trial, on Tuesday laid out to the 7-member jury 6 elements of the case that the prosecution must prove in getting a manslaughter-related conviction. In giving his instructions and a summation to the jury, the judge pointed out that there was a fundamental issue with the charge of manslaughter. After providing a breakdown, Justice Day arrived at a charge of manslaughter by gross negligence. He noted that among the elements that must be proven for successful conviction on a charge of manslaughter by gross negligence are 1. Duty of care, 2. That the accused negligently breached that duty of care, 3. At the time of the breach of care, there was a serious and obvious risk of serious injury, a risk that is present, clear and immediately apparent. 4. It was reasonably foreseeable that at the time of the breach of duty, the breach gave rise to a serious and obvious discontent. 5. The risk of death caused by a significant contribution to the death of the inmate. And 6. The jury must be satisfied that the circumstances of the breach were truly exceptionally bad and reprehensible to justify the conclusion that amounted to gross negligence and required criminal sanctions. Corporal Elaine Stewart, along with District Constables Marlon Grant and Juliana Cleavon, have been hauled before the court to answer to charges of manslaughter and misconduct in a public office stemming from the 2014 fatal beating of Deane while he was in lockup at a Barnett Street police station in St. James. The allegations in the case are that Deane was arrested for possession of a ganja spliff and placed in custody when he was brutally beaten on August 3, 2014. He sustained severe injuries to his brain, which left him in a coma. He died 3 days later at Cornwall Regional Hospital in St. James. It is alleged that the 3 cops were on duty at the police station when Deane was beaten. It is further alleged that Stewart, who has an additional charge of perverting the course of justice, instructed that the cell in which the attack took place be cleaned before the arrival of investigators from the Independent Commission of Investigations. Earlier on Tuesday, Justice Day told the jury to focus on the facts of the case and avoid being influenced by sympathy from the victim and his mother. The judge argued that the circumstances in which Deane died were brutal, he was defenseless and that this could evoke sympathy. Justice Day also asked the jury not to be influenced by prejudice against the police. Noting that the three accused are entitled to a fair trial, the judge pointed out that the jury is the decider of the facts in the case, facts which are to determine guilt or innocence. During his submission and instructions to the jury, all three cops dressed in black tops listened attentively from the prisoner's dock. Justice Day is expected to address the other charges of misconduct in a public office and perverting the course of justice when the case resumes Wednesday at 10 a.m. Guys, thanks for watching. Please join us this afternoon at 2 p.m. for another news update.